Hello, everyone, and happy Full Spend Friday. As a lot of you guys know, we have a pretty big announcement today about postponing this stuff. However, before we get into it, we will let a few people join in live. But for the people listening back to the recording, about at the 5-minute mark, we will dive in and start officially discussing this. This is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter Full Spend Friday, just because the anticipated launch is being delayed by 1 week exactly. So, without further ado, we will let some more people join in and dive into it after that. Hello. Doing good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm still ordering food, so I'm gonna get back to you in a couple of minutes. And
Not a worry.
also, should we give it like a minute or five at least?
Yeah, that's what I was saying about on the 5-minute mark. Let some
Okay,
people
awesome.
join in.
Yep. Hello to NFTs and such that's already in here.
All right. We'll give it about a minute or two more, and then we will dive right into it for this week's project update. A little bit of a gloomy project update, but nonetheless, important that we take care of things and do the appropriate thing in response to the bugs that have been found. Oh, that's pretty cool. There is a clip function, so you can clip like 30-second portions of the space and share them out as audio. That's nice. All right,
Is that
all
new?
right. I think so. I've never seen it before. On your little bar where you have like the share and like the reactions and stuff, is there a little pair of scissors?
For me, no, but I guess you have to be host for that then.
Maybe. Sometimes also Android versus Apple, they'll release weird stuff for testing on Apple.
Yeah, I'm on Android. You're right.
Uh, yeah, I just use my iPhone for these spaces because it seems to just be a little bit less glitchy.
Yep, we've been through that in the past, so
All right. Well, it looks like not too many people are going to be joining in today. So let's just dive in, and people can listen back to the recording. So, as obviously obvious, if you're part of the project, you know that we had a little bit of a bug come up where some people could turn on some of their miners, and then other times when they try to turn them off and on, they'd get gas fee errors. we ended up finding that this error was caused by the wallets. They were, for some reason, ignoring the gas limit that we were putting in, and after you would turn on one or something like that, it would, for some reason, reset what we were putting as the gas. And so we basically have a hot fix out right now where there's an option to manually set the gas limit, and that'll override any of the weird stuff the wallets are doing. I know that most of the people using Zelcore, I haven't seen anybody report any issues with Zelcore. Weren't having any issues with the gas. So I think it was just Echo Wallet that was having issues, and maybe another wallet. However, the important part is that now you can override any of the weird stuff happening on our website. When you turn on your miners on the dashboard, it will allow you to set your own gas. So obviously we wanted to give everybody a week to turn on their miners. However, because they did not have a full week, we got this fix pushed out, I think, yesterday. And announced today. We want to give everybody an additional week to be able to turn back on those miners. So just to review everything, you have to cycle your miners on and off. If you've already done that last week and you weren't affected by this glitch, no worries, just leave your miners on. Also, next Thursday, we're going to be releasing a list of wallet addresses that haven't cycled their NFTs on. So if you're worried that maybe it didn't work or something, you'll be able to see your address in that list of wallet addresses that haven't cycled their NFTs or don't have them staked, so you can know exactly if you are being excluded from the airdrop or whatever from that, any issues like that. And then, of course, we will help you ensure that you can participate in the airdrop and that everything is good and kosher for you guys. So to review, the new launch date is going to be the 21st. Yeah, basic math. Next Friday, the 21st at noon Mountain Standard Time. We'll post the updated date in the Discord with the epoch time, so it'll convert to your time zone. However, just add a week to the last week's estimate or today's estimated launch date. Just exactly a week from now, and everything that we have in the previous announcement still stands. We're going to do an airdrop. All of the rewards are going to go live. All of that good stuff. And that is pretty much all we have for the update today. Everything's just basically getting delayed by a week because of that weird gas error bug we were having. So, yeah, you could put in your own gas. Oh, and another thing, people were having luck with putting 30,000 as the gas per NFT. So that is a little bit high for gas. However, when you consider that it's still only like a 1,000th of a penny or something crazy like that, you realize it is not too shabby for the gas. So hopefully that fixes everything for you guys. Of course, reach out in Discord if it doesn't, or if you're confused on how to set your own gas, although it should be all pretty straightforward and self-explanatory. And I know another thing we wanted to talk about, and Sid might want to pitch in on this. However, we discussed it last week. We were talking about potentially diversifying our mining portfolio to help cover electricity costs. And unless I am missing something, Kadena has dropped over 25% in the past week, or around 25% in the past week, and has not recovered. This puts a lot of pressure on the amount of KDA we have to sell for power. And we're getting to a point where, it's kind of getting painful to have to sell. Once we get to 80% of the KDA being sold for power, we have to keep basically 100% of the mining rewards to be able to reinvest and also upkeep the miners. And that is not a happy thing. Obviously, we can't just sacrifice the sustainability of our project to pay out rewards. So we have to keep those percentages for all the upkeep and repairs, and obviously we have to pay the power. And it just becomes more of a staying alive thing at that point. And we don't want to just stay alive; we want to thrive. And there's just a lot of reason for us to diversify. So far, I haven't heard anybody against it, but I think we're gonna be pushing pretty hard to get some more mints in and try to do that fairly soon before the next bull cycle happens. We've also been discussing potentially, uh, selling some of the KA3s within the next bull cycle. I know we've always talked about that, but even now it seems like a better idea for that, especially considering the fact that we haven't had a new KA miner from Bitmain come out. So we would expect within the next few year or so that they're going to have a KA4 or something like that, which will hopefully be more stable, which will result in more profit from us. So, if we can sell our KD or KA3s for 10x within the next cycle, I think we're definitely going to be looking into doing some of that. And whether we want to use that to buy more Kadena miners or to diversify, in the end of the day, you have to just do what is logical and the most profitable. Whether you end up converting whatever we mine into Kadena, doesn't quite matter as long as we're making a profit and that we're taking care of, all of the NFT holders and such. And in the end of the day, even if you are here just for KDA profits, it's going to result in more KDA profits because, we can sell all of the Litecoin and Dogecoin that we mine or Bitcoin and keep all the KDA and use that to distribute for rewards and not have to sell it for, all of the electricity and stuff. So keep your eyes posted for any announcements on that, any voting we might do, and ensure that your voice gets heard because we obviously care about everybody's opinions within this. And I don't know if Sid has anything to add to that, but
Yeah, so basically what you said was on the spot. Only thing I would maybe add is we're always open to suggestions. Keep your eye out for announcements, but also join the conversation to the Discord or DM with one of us or one of the other team members to say, well, I feel confident in mining this or that. We're mostly looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin right now. And also your thoughts about diversifying. If you have any thoughts or would like to join right now to ask some questions or go about the conversation, we all do it together, right? So, and one other thing is I was going to ask you how many people still need to turn on their miners. So how many miners still need to be turned on is a better question, I guess.
As far as how many miners need to be turned on, let me
because it's way better. Of course, we did this the other time as well to give people more time to do what they need to do with their miners to not miss out. And it's best to just have everything smoothed out before you start putting KDA into the contract. And as well, we're in a rough patch, so we have to be smart about what we're going to do next. And I guess we talked about this the other AMA before this. Diversifying is one of the best ways to make an impact. Is there anyone that wants to ask a question or anything, wants to come up to speak, has thoughts about this, suggestions? Just please do, or also use the comment button on the below right corner of your screen, probably. Yeah. So what kind of miners were you mostly looking at, Riley, for diversifying? and
For
why?
me personally, uh, for the purpose of trying to cover electricity costs, I think the L7s throughout the bear and the bull are the most stable. You don't have that crazy upswing potential, but for the purpose of needing stable income in a bear market, which is, three-fourths of crypto mining, um, and the what defines a profitable miner versus a not profitable miner is how you handle the bear markets and capitalize on the bull markets. So I think for our purpose, getting enough L7s to cover the cost of electricity and allow us to hodl the moon bag, which would be Kadena, and allow people to get more Kadena rewards is going to be huge. Obviously, Dogecoin and even potentially Bitcoin isn't going to, 30, 40x from where it's at. That would be fairly insane to see Bitcoin in multiple millions of dollars within the next bull run, which it's not impossible, but um, not likely. And so by getting this stable income with a coin that stays stable like Litecoin throughout the bear and bull, it allows us to diversify, even if we wanted to get Bitcoin miners or what's the other one people have been talking about? Like not Theta, but like some weird Greek symbol or something like that. What's that blockchain?
Is that you meant a lithium or a lithium? I don't
Lithium,
know how you
yeah, yeah,
pronounce.
yeah. Lithium, whatever that one is. We could potentially do that. Maybe even Caspa, whatever. Just get a miner or two as a little moonshot. Um, and it just allows anything we want to do, even if we're mining Bitcoin or whatever, where we can hold that and sell one of the more stable cryptocurrencies to cover the costs of that. Which
Yes,
that's what helps prepare us to capitalize on the huge moves. Even if we just go to $20 worth of Kadena, if we keep selling 60 to 70, 80% of the Kadena just for power, that could potentially be like hundreds of millions of dollars that we had to sell preemptively when we could have just sold Litecoin, which we all know, based on the past cycles, is maybe going to double, maybe. And
and the beauty of it is also that we're still built on Kadena. We're still within, the project is still built on the safety of Kadena. It's still supporting Kadena uh, because we still have faith in how it's built and what it can bring. Um, it's just that, let me just ask you this question. Somebody might ask, why not do this before and why now? We talked about it before, and then we always said, well, we don't want to do this. So it's all about the timing, but why is the timing now something that we are considering instead of earlier?
yeah, I think mostly just the downward pressure of Kadena. Earlier, when we were talking about this, it was in times where we were selling maybe 20 to 30% of the hash rate, and even when we dipped down and we're started getting into these low, um, below the dollar mark, we were thinking, we're going to rebound pretty quickly. Kadena is such a great coin. However, there's been just so much selling pressure that we're starting to see that it's going to be difficult to compete with the increase in, just the increase in difficulty and all that. If we are, we're having to sell so much of the Kadena just for power, and um, I think when you think about it, it's like you said, we're still on Kadena. We're still gonna have to pay rewards out in Kadena. So even if, say, we mine a bunch of Bitcoin, we're gonna have to convert that into Kadena, just because the way our smart contract works, we can't really pay Bitcoin on the Kadena network. Sadly, there's not quite the capacity for that yet, as far as I understand. However, um, yeah, it's all just about timing and the pressure
So,
that Kadena is putting on us with it taking its time.
yep. And at the same time, one of my thoughts was as well, Maybe the other time that we were discussing this or that it came up, I think we might have had like 7 miners live or even en route to the facility, which the difficulty was then different. The difference was also we were building a project on Kadena to have a lot of Kadena miners for the upside potential as well, and for that you of course need your fleet, which wasn't present at that time. And the difference is we now have more miners. We have been working with them. We've been testing overclocking. We've been seeing when the errors come up. We've been seeing how they've been doing. So it gives you more data to make your decisions on. And, everything, all the choices that need to be made are for sustainability, right?
Exactly.
So,
And that's actually a huge portion of it too, is there's really not a good Kadena miner on the market right now. The KA3s are poorly built. They're not stable. You end up getting a fraction of the total hash rate out of them throughout an extended period of time. And we have a big fleet of them. We're already doing that, so it kind of just makes sense to diversify, become more sustainable, and ensure that we can continue to support Kadena in that way and continue to mine Kadena in that way.
yep. So I think that covers the why of why now. And of course, it's just wise to diversify. Also, there's market sentiments that you have to take into account. And if we want to have highest ROI, at first, the main thing was to get more miners, more miners, more miners, because that was going to carry the project. And we're at a time right now where we can choose to have more miners, but then different miners, so that we can keep the moonbag, as you said, protected. Yeah. So I saw some people joining as well. Welcome to everyone that just joined. If you're thinking about asking a question, please do share the space if you want to. And yeah, how are you doing, Kadena Keeper? Kevin Clark just came up as well.
How's it going, Kevin?
What's up, Raleigh? How you guys doing?
We are doing good. We're happy we were able to squash this little bug with an iron fist.
Yeah, I jumped in at the very last second, so unfortunately, I didn't really catch the why. I mean, I know you've been talking about it. You don't have to go back through the whole thing, but just kind of in a nutshell, what happened?
Are you talking about why we want to diversify or why we delayed the launch?
Delayed the launch.
Yeah, so we delayed the launch because we found there was a bug. Some random users were having issues with the gas where it would report a gas issue. And we ended up finding that the wallet was for some reason overriding what we were setting the gas to be within our contract, and that it was tied to if you'd already turned on one miner, it would just like nullify something within the wallet, would just not read the gas. So we fixed it by pushing out a hot fix where you can now manually set the gas, which kind of overrides the ability for the wallet to default to the default gas fee, which then will stop the error from happening. And one of the things is we found that a lot of people, when they're having issues, setting the gas to 30,000, I think per NFT, which is a lot. It's still only like a thousandth of a penny, but setting it that high, we found has typically helped. And then if if you still have problems, you could probably try to increase it.
Are you guys getting any assistance from the Kadena team?
No, we have not seen much assistance from the Kadena team. We've talked to them. They are aware we exist, and they.
Well, that's a step forward.
Yeah.
On the other hand, our devs go talk to a lot of the people from Kadena, and they are really supportive with, answering questions about issues and such. So.
but we can't get the Kadena team to take a look at it. We can't get an Amir to take a look at it.
We might if we
I mean, I'm just
ask.
saying because there's a huge gap between the projects and Kadena, and you guys that know me know that. And I'm not gonna go off on that tangent, but I mean, these guys have been
What?
building for years, and there's got to be a way for us to bridge things, whether we're talking about other currencies and you were talking about the Bitcoin and having to convert it back to KDA. There's got to be some fixes that the team itself, the core team, can help some of these projects resolve. It's just extremely frustrating to me to watch you guys fight this, and Kadena could probably step in and help look at the stuff and figure it out.
Yeah, I think that in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of like a matter of resources where what's the most beneficial to Kadena, what do they need, and I don't know if they technically think they need. I don't know if what we're doing is high on their priority list, and so it does
Well,
suck.
you're not, but you're not, and I get that because we weren't. The game, they don't really focus on their community and the gaming aspect either, but they still need miners, right? I mean, don't we have to have miners for Kadena to be bought and sold?
Yeah,
Like it is in their best interest to keep miners running.
that it is true, and I mean even circling back, technically this isn't preventing our miners from running, so it's kind of just out of their ballpark where this is just forward facing for the user interface for people to claim rewards, and it's not really preventing anybody from getting mining rewards or for us from mining. So I think it's just one of those things where they, it's on our own, and it also costs resources. The Kadena devs aren't working for free, and it's just it's all tough.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, but that's not an excuse. I mean, I get your heart behind trying to defend them, but come on, man, this is their project. This is their company. This is what they do. They need you guys doing what you're doing. And for them to not be able to step out and help you guys resolve some of these issues is just, it creates more FUD.
Well,
Right? It frustrates more people.
one of the things I would say about that, Kevin, is on the one hand, it's our responsibility to ask, and of course we have a dev, and we have a good dev, and the dev is in contact with other good devs, and then even if they would help, they would still need the time to look at the contracts to see where the issue is coming from, and it's also for them not at the flick of a switch, right? So time wise, there's something is built and it needs to be managed, it needs to be troubleshooted every time something comes up, and that's what's been happening. So, and on the other hand is I guess they're not as focused on the grants right now as they were maybe before. Also, they had some bad experiences with some grantees as well. I'm not trying to defend anything, but what I'm just trying to say is we know some information. We have been in contact with some people from the team, also from business development, so they have to watch their step as well. And it's always multifaceted, right? You can look at it from very different perspectives, but it doesn't change the core or the foundation of what is built and what is being built on. Of course, it's hard to see ourselves struggle. We know because we're the ones struggling, and we're struggling together with you guys because you're waiting for the results. So I understand the sentiment, and it's also just at one point we had to be realistic, and nothing in this world is for free, and if it were easy, then everybody would be doing it. So that is just the way we go about it, and we just enter the fight without a thought in our mind to throw the towel, and that's the way we attack things and we do things.
Well, no, I agree with that. I mean, nobody's going to throw in any towels. It's just when there's a new language like Pact and it's complicated, they claim it's super simple, but it's really not. And so a lot of people struggle with it. So when projects are trying to build and learn and devs are trying to build and learn, I think and it may be rightfully so that you guys may not have directly asked, and that's a whole nother scenario. But on the flip side to that is they should be more willing to help fix a few of these problems because it is packed, and they should be very good and well versed in
I
it.
mean,
So it may be worth reaching out.
it is.
Of
I
course.
understand what you're saying, but it's also somewhat an issue of the wallet itself is overriding what we're doing in Pact and not. So it's just one of those issues where there's not a really like, oh, I don't think they can really come in and help us. Like we fixed it on as far as we can, and I think what's next, like this wasn't a problem for every single wallet. It was just a specific wallet, it seemed like. And it's one of those things where it's like, do they come in and help us, or do they go fix the wallet, or like what is it a underlying issue in Pact? Is it there's so much to it. And I mean, I'm not defend. I also agree, not to defend anything like that. But it's just one of those things where we fixed it, and we pretty much just gotta keep chugging along. And it sucks that it happened, and that we have to wait another week. But in the end,
I guess what we also maybe I'm just speaking. I'm going to speak for myself here now for a second because that's the only thing you can do ever. When you think about it, we don't actually know how much work is going into developing what they have developed. And when I, for instance, talked to Randy from the team from the Chief Experience Officer, he's been really involved into getting more devs from the Kadena JS side, so JavaScript devs to work on Kadena. Those are quite big projects that they are working on, and we need to be able to learn to write in it and to use Pact as easily as possible. But they are the ones that are setting the actual functions until it works. So what they are doing is like infinite times harder than we are. So and they're still releasing stuff. So for me personally, I do not see all the criticism that there is. I do understand that as a community, you would want a project to support more than they're doing. I guess they're just going about it differently. They're trying to build everything that anyone might need to have a thriving project. But in the end, all the projects need to do it themselves. Even if you get a grant, you're saying to them basically, I want to build this so everybody in Kadena can use this. And then we want to get your help in, having the funding to do so, or having the manpower to do so, or to be able to be sustainable in this project. You can't come over. You can't go over to a project like Kadena, to a layer one, and say, we are willing to build, but you have to pay, because the payment in effort that you're putting in as a project is always going to be way higher than because otherwise they should just be doing it themselves, and they're not, because they're focused on different things to set the foundations that everyone can build on. And I guess we're getting at that point where we're so close, and we're all devastated that price is dropping and that there are token emissions and everything, but those have been there like forever. So I understand that people are getting hurt in what they're investing and the way they saw things evolving, but at the same time, it's still the same project, and they're trying to deliver what they're trying to deliver since the beginning. So yeah.
And that's another thing is we're not trying to undermine like how you guys feel, because trust us, we feel the exact same way. We want the rewards from our NFTs. I have 100 of our NFTs, and I would love to be able to get my KDA when I want it and when I need it. Like, we completely understand how frustrating it is. In reality, this should have been we should have been launched months ago. We should have been launched in early January. We understand how frustrating that is, and maybe even more than you guys may understand, because we're sitting here seeing all the issues come up, seeing all the crap we have to work through, having you guys understand how annoyed you guys are, how frustrated you guys are, how scared you guys are, all of the emotions that have come with this, the FOMO, that's what if we don't get paid before, we start mooning, and all of the things we completely understand. So we're not trying to provide like excuses for that or anything, and more so just understanding as to the whole scope of it. And I think important thing is to note that we're here, we made it, we squashed hopefully what will be the last bug, and we only got one more week, and then we're good
And
to
also,
go. So
the only way to go at it is to go through it. We can't change what happens or what comes up. This also, on the other hand, gives people more time to turn on their miners. There's always positives that come out of this. The rewards that are there aren't going anywhere, and we want to have you guys' help as well to think about how we're going to revive this to get some other miners to diversify to pay for the electricity, so that the Kadena can stay as untouched as possible to have faster, better ROI. What kind of blockchains are you thinking about that we can mine proof of work coins? Which one are best and why? Just open up the conversation with any of us from the team or in the Discord. All ideas are appreciated because, since the beginning, we've been sharing ideas for everything we're doing. So why think that, it's just our own idea ever? And yeah, the sole purpose is to make sure that we get to ROI in the best possible way, and then some. And that's an understatement.
Now, when you said postponed, did you set a date? Like, is it postponed till next Friday, or
yes,
are you not sure
it's
yet?
exactly 1 week. So technically, like we fixed it, we could launch today, but we wanted to give everybody a week from the announcement, which was a week from today ago. Now, tongue twister there.
Right.
But now that we fixed it yesterday and pretty much announced it today, we feel it's only fair that we give another week, because that's what we wanted to do in the beginning, and that should be fair. It should be, everybody's had a week to hear about this. Now everybody has a week to go and use the solution. So there's I know a lot of people were saying we shouldn't wait forever for everybody to turn on so that people aren't left out, and which is right, but we also have to give fair warning. So now there's been ample time, and we should be able to just launch exactly like we planned today, but next week, next Friday, same time, 12 noon Mountain Standard Time. So the light at the end of the tunnel is here.
It also goes into this, what's the word? Responsibilities that you have as a project. If you not want to be a security, for instance, then you have to have people that do their own handling of the NFTs they own. So it's also a part of that. So you give fair warning, and you do the announcement, you give the time people need, which is just fair. And also, if there are some bugs that need to be squashed, you need to give yourself the time and the headspace to not start putting rewards into the contract, just so that you're putting out the rewards in the contract that are still there and then overlooking something that's important, right?
Exactly. And I mean, there's still a good chance that when we launch, there's going to be some more bugs to squash, and we won't be able to put the full amount of rewards in. But it's really like Sid said, we don't know what's going to come up. We don't know what hurdles we're going to face, and we're not, we can't predict the future. And with that being said, the only way to go about it is to go straight through it and fix this stuff. So we're putting all of our effort that we can into it, and we're here. We've been building in everything for so long to get to this point, and we're at that final few percent. We were all able to be patient for so long and deal with so much to get here that it's we're almost there, and we ask for just a little bit more patience while we get there. And This is the exciting times where instead of just waiting without seeing anything, we actually get to wait and do things like turning on the miners, different stuff like that, testing stuff. We have a beta group which gets to test stuff. And now next week, we're going to be able to do the grand launch and start claiming rewards, see if there's any issues with that, and continue on from that. So, we just ask that you understand that we are a smaller company comparatively to some of the things in blockchain. And as such, we,
I did want to say though, from my experience, the website, so the dashboard has been starting to work more smoothly, and also even like the error messages and everything looks way better in my opinion. I don't know if anybody noticed, but they're doing great work.
Definitely. And that's just it. We're on a small budget. I mean, specifically for the development team. Obviously, we've raised a beautiful amount of money through you guys for the mining portion of this. But as far as developments go, when you look at the total amount of income we've had, with only 10% of that going to development, it is incredible. We have such high quality art. We have such high quality things coming out, and that we're able to continue to improve and so forth. And you in the end of the day, you get what you paid for. If we had 100,000, 200,000 just to put in developments, I'm sure we could expand and get things done faster. But in the end of the day, we are a project that's going to be running for hundreds of years. And with that being said, we kind of have to focus on what's the most logical, what's going to get us where we need to go, without harming or making us have to take more than we'd planned, and then harm the mining efforts, which harms your guys' income. It's like we always say, it's not the most fun. However, we're not doing anything that's going to drastically, or not doing at all. It's not going to at all affect the income you get from mining and stuff like that. We've always put that as number one, and we've made sure that even though we are developing slowly with the front end of things, on the back end, we are mining, and we have been for a very long time, and we're ensuring that that's the priority to take care of. Sure, we could have taken more money out of mining to get this done faster, but that would be less profitable, and our whole entire thesis from the beginning of our company was that we want to prioritize the profits from the mining, and that we want to take as little out of the income that we get as possible and keep 100% of it going straight into mining. So we appreciate you guys, and I think if we'll give a chance for any more questions. Anybody else that wants to come up and ask questions, you're more than welcome to. However, if not, we'll probably go ahead and end this space. But yeah, if you guys are just joining in, we have this space recorded, so you can go back and listen. But just to reiterate one more time, we are delaying exactly by 1 week. We found a bug within the wallets and the gas, and we have a fix out now where you can set the gas manually and it'll override the bug that was happening. So everything should be good. Next week, exactly the same time as this space at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, we're going to be going live. We encourage everybody to be there because we're going to be putting rewards into the actual contract. It's going to be huge. It's going to be important that we get as much feedback to make sure that everybody's getting the proper amount of rewards, and so that everything stays kosher. But yeah, feel free to raise your hand, or in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there is a little chat bubble, and you can type your comments if you don't want to come up and speak. But we're also available 24/7 in the Discord. So if you do have any issues that you didn't get to ask during the space, or you listen back and you have any questions, you are more than welcome to come chat with us. You can always add me as a friend on Discord, or just DM me. I try to get to all of those. So yeah, we genuinely appreciate you all for supporting what we do, and for having patience with us as we build something that's going to last for the next 150 plus years. It's going to outlast all of us, all of our lifespans, unless we develop some crazy technology that makes me live forever. But until then, yeah. So we do sympathize with you all, but we're here. Let's focus on the good things. We fixed the error. We're about to launch, and hopefully everything will be great. So yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate what you guys are doing, and keep up the good work. And thanks for answering my questions.
Of course, and thank you for having such a compassionate heart and actually caring about us and showing concern and wishing that we got a little more support where we needed it. We definitely feel you on that, and your guys' support is what keeps us pushing, and the entire community here is really what drives us. So
Maybe
thank you as
a
well.
last thought as well. If anybody wants the Cadena team to notice us more, there's nothing stopping you from getting their attention on Twitter or other socials.
Yes.
Talk about Full Spend Mining. Tell them about what we're doing, why we're not leaving, why we're building on what we're building on, and if you have any suggestions on blockchains or type of miners that you want to suggest for the project, just go into our Discord and do the part you want to do for us.
Yeah, and adding one more bit onto that, it's really crucial. Collectively, this is a decentralized project, and that means that we all are the marketing team, every single one of us. And I know that in the past it's been a little, do I really want to post about Full Spend? We're not even sure if they're going to launch.
Riley, you just cut out.
Hello.
You're back. You're back.
All right. Hopefully that encourages you guys as we start launching stuff to, participate in that more, and gives you more confidence in those posts. And we genuinely encourage you guys, even if it's just one person, maybe it's just one person that sees that tweet, or maybe you post on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, or maybe even you just DM someone and say, yo, check this out. That all collectively comes together and is a massive thing. If every single person that was a part of this project decided to go and bring one more person into it, it would be incredible for us. We would be able to be far more sustainable. We could get into our own, mining facility, which would increase our profitability and allow us to expand way faster. Deploy our miners faster, everything. And so don't underestimate your guys' impact. Obviously, there's people that have bought one NFT. There's people that have bought 100. Don't look at me. No, I'm teasing. But there's people that have bought 100, and every single person has an equal amount of pull within the project. Yeah. You guys, the person who bought one is just as responsible as me, who's dumped my life into this project for getting us where we are. And that's the important thing to remember, that no matter how small or how minuscule that impact is, it's still an impact. And a sand dune, every single piece of sand in that dune, every grain of sand is what makes those amazing deserts. So let's all come together and be a powerhouse. And
yes. And if you have any ideas about how we could conduct a super awesome type of flash sale to get some Litecoin miners to pay for the electricity, all your ideas are welcome. Of course, we have some ideas, but we're not doing it alone, because you guys are all still here. All the people that are going to be listening back are still here. And instead of feeling hostage to the times we were in, last parts of the bear market for however long it's still going to take, try to even as we go through rough times, take matters into our own hands and make it as fun as we can.
Indeed, indeed. And one more reiteration. We're probably going to be diversifying pretty soon into some L7s and whatnot, or other, not just L7s, but other blockchains to mine, just because of the price action with Kadena has been very less than desirable. So genuinely, if you guys have any ideas for how we could raise some funds for that, maybe a sale on the NFT's actual price, or any ideas that you have, maybe a raffle for the people that enter, any ideas like that, or if you want to participate in something like that, just let us know. And yeah, we appreciate all of you guys. I think there hasn't been any questions or comments. Let me double check. No, there has not. So I guess we'll go ahead and end the space. This has been recorded, so if you have anything that you missed or you want to go back through, I know from the 5-minute mark to about the 15-minute mark is where we go through all of the majorly important information. If you just wanted to get that snippet of all of that, but we have reiterated and repeated that throughout the space. So if you've been here for the last 10, 20 minutes, you got most of the important stuff.
Riley, can I ask you one quick question? I know we need to wrap
Hey,
up.
no worries, no worries. That's what we're here for. I'm glad you. Yeah, no worries. What's your question?
Have you guys priced any L7s and then done any calculations to what the electric cost is per month, and then how many L7s it would take to recoup that price? And then, if it comes out to be several grand, it's divided across so many people, what would it be? Have you done any kind of calculations to see that yet?
Not that we're ready to share. However, we will be sharing that very soon, just because that's going to be a major part of the fundraising. We're going to set a target. We don't want to just have it open-ended. If we have a collective goal, it's easier for all us to pitch in minting one more NFT to get there, versus if it's just endless, we don't know what we're doing or what. So, yeah, but I can say for sure that the L7s are fairly profitable, and they're a lot more stable in their profit. When you calculate a KA3, sure, it might beat out an L7 or be comparable, but when you have the issues with the uptime and the all of that stuff and the stability, it starts to you start to look at the price of the KA3 versus the L7 differently. And we'll share all these statistics with you guys, because obviously we want to keep you guys informed. And for you to make an informed decision, you have to have information. And we want to do what's best for the project, not just what we think we should do. And the best way to do that is to allow everybody to have an opinion and see and collaborate to, drive this thing forward, because 100 or 1,000 minds are better than one. So we will definitely do that. And if you're not in the Discord, definitely join the Discord, because that's where we're going to most likely initially announce this stuff. We tend to keep the things more official on Twitter once we've made decisions and stuff. So if you really want to be a core part of the community, the Discord is where you're going to want to do that. And yeah, so great question. And thank you for having that question.
My 2 cents on this would be, when you ask a question, also share as much of the why you're asking it, because the hidden gems are mostly why you're thinking about it, so we can look at every aspect and see what the wisdom in it is, and use the wisdom of everybody in here.
Yeah, I don't know that I really had that. It was just when we were talking about the L7s, I didn't know if we were going to try to buy some just enough to cover the electric cost so that we keep more KDA and we don't have to spend as much of the KDA to make the electric cost, or are we going to try to do enough to cover the electric and still make profit off of that, the L7s as well? And then either, you brought up earlier about trying to do a different coin, which is very hard to do on Kadena because we can't do Bitcoin or anything else. So if we did Litecoin, you'd have to sell it and convert it to KDA if that was paid out, or will that, if you do those funds and you make profit above the electric cost, does that go into hosting facility cost, or do we create a separate fund that's going to like build over
Yeah,
time that would go to buying our own hosting
that
facility at some
that's
point?
a really good question. So the quick and easy answer to that is that if we say one day we have a little extra, we got a little extra Litecoin or Dogecoin or Bitcoin or whatever we decide to mine, and we, um, obviously we've paid all of the uh, electricity and we have some extra. We would then obviously go to the other things that we have to sell Kadena for or keep Kadena for, which is going to be the 10% of rebuying miners, because we like to store anything that we need for the project sustainability in a non-volatile asset. So usually stable coins, at least for a portion of it, just to balance that risk out. And with that being said, we would then go to there, start paying that with it, and any of that stuff, just so we don't have to sell the Kadena, and we can just use that for rewards and then sell the other stuff. And then if there was any extra, we could collectively decide what to do with it as a community through a DAO. However, off the top of my head, I would presume we could either, if we're paying 100% of what we mine in Kadena out, we could either buy more Kadena to distribute, or we could decide to keep that and dedicate it to something else, like you suggested, or even keep it in case the price fluctuates on Dogecoin and Litecoin, and then we have to end up selling, or we end up not mining enough one month. We can dip into that pool to kind of have a little bit of a headroom to protect the mining income on Kadena or whatever we decide to do. So that would be off the top of my head, but yeah, I would assume that to cover 100% of the power would be a pretty hefty sale we would need to do. I don't know if anybody. I don't want to make any assumptions, but I'm assuming it would be over 300 or 400 NFTs total we would need. I still need to crunch numbers and see the available pricing on available L7s, and do all the math and make sure we're solidified in that. But hopefully that is a little bit more info on that aspect of things.
Well, it just seems like if we bought enough L7s to cover the electric cost, when we got into the bull, the profits above and beyond that would be so much greater. Hopefully you could take what was above and beyond and put into a separate fund towards, maybe by the time we got to the next bear, we could have potentially enough funds to actually look at buying our own hosting facility.
Most definitely. And there's a lot we can do with that too. Once we get into that bull market, we can look into potentially pulling a few miners, 10% of the fleet, and selling them for 10x. And that would even give us enough to get into our own facility. And that's not a big downside. There's also we do keep we're I personally, hopefully, if we get back to the all-time highs on Kadena, where hopefully I'll have enough where I would even be prepared to purchase a facility of my own. I don't know how that would work with the whole legal and company structure. However, that would allow us to host in it at cost. And then I could obviously host for other things or my own mining, and maybe have full spend, pay it back slowly over time as we, maybe add like a 5 or 10% of the mint just to go to that. We can all deal with that when it comes. However, the major thing is that there are bags being packed so that if Kadena goes, to the all-time high or past the all-time high, we should be taken care of, and there shouldn't be any reason for us to not be in our own facility within the next bear market. So hopefully that Hopefully that all comes to fruition. And yeah, so
Yeah, thanks, Riley, for the rundown again. And I'm not seeing any more questions in the comments. So I guess we're about ready to sum everything up. That doesn't mean that you can still answer or ask your questions. And you asked some very valid questions, Kevin. So to those, my answer would be yes. Keep asking those questions because getting those juices flowing and getting the answers together to those questions is going to get us to the point where we're all going to be happy at where we're at that moment in time, knowing we've done everything we could. So
yeah, and we appreciate you guys all for being here. Next Full Spin Friday is 12 noon. That's 2 hours earlier than it typically is. So if you guys can plan to be here on time, we're going to have everything ready to go, ready to roll. And join the Discord and have a great weekend. Take care. Stay safe out there and keep mining on, my good fellow crypto miners.
right, have a good one. Later. Bye.